Hi, my name is Sarah Kelly. I'm a partner at The Panel. We're based in Dublin, and like many of you, I am currently working from home due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So wherever you are, I hope you're keeping safe and well. I'm getting a lot of emails in recent days from candidates who are interested in getting tips on how to update their CV. Not necessarily looking for a job right now, but they want to have it ready to go for when they decide to look maybe later in the year and they feel they have time to do it now. There's a lot of advice out there on how a CV should look, so all I can do is give you my experience. I've been 17 years working in the recruitment industry, so I've seen a lot of very good CVs come and go, and I've seen a lot of very bad CVs come and go, as you can imagine. But at the end of the day, the CV is a sales document, so it needs to look good. So I just want to give you some pointers on how to put together an impactful, professional looking CV. Some of the information is kind of common sense or basic, so I'll start off with the basic stuff. A CV should be 2 to 3 pages long if you're a senior candidate, less than that if you're a junior or mid-level candidate. It's important to use a Word document in a plain format or PDF, and avoid using images and text boxes on your CV. So there's a very practical reason for this. A number of companies, recruitment agencies and large companies use applicant tracking systems where they then take the CV and parse it to do searches for keywords on your CV. And if the keywords of your experience is in an image, it just won't come up on the parsing, so it's difficult to get through that. Also use Tahoma or Arial 10 as a font. Anything like 11 or 12 is probably just too big. The first page on a CV is the most important page you have, so it's important to make a big impression here. If you do a quick Google search on the 6-second CV or resume test, you will see that there's studies been done to show that the average recruiter or line manager who is looking through CVs to shortlist them spends about 6 seconds looking at them before they make the shortlist. So it sounds like a very short amount of time, so it's important that you are making a big impression on page 1. So on page 1, you will have your name, email address, mobile number and LinkedIn profile. There's no need to have your full home address on there, it just takes up too much space. Immediately below that then you want to have your professional summary or professional profile. So this is 2 to 3 lines about who you are and what you do. So if you're legal counsel, you might be legal counsel with 10 years post-qualification experience, list out your experience and name the companies that you've worked in the sector you work in. So listing the companies is useful because if you worked in a large multinational 10 years ago and it falls onto page 2 on your CV, you want to make sure it comes up on page 1. So the summary profile is actually very handy for that. Immediately below that then you will have your education. Some people like this to go on page 2 if they want it very detailed. Personally, I prefer it on page 1, but a very succinct version of it. So you might just name your degree, master's, professional qualifications and give the final result. You don't need to list all of the subjects in your master's and degree, and you only need to put your Leaving Cert on there if you're kind of new enough in your career. So immediately below that then you should be kind of halfway down the page, you will include your professional experience. So your professional experience starts off obviously with your job title, company name and the dates. More specifically then you want to make sure that your experience is bullet pointed and avoid using the first person. So with the bullet points, don't just list out 12 and 15 bullet points and then expect the reader to go through each one to understand your experience. You want to make sure that they're bite-sized and ready for your audience. So break them up with subheadings. So again, if you're a general counsel in a company and your remit is to look after commercial contracts, company secretarial, corporate acquisitions, then break it up with those subheadings and include the bullet points underneath that. Directly below that then, or above it, it's up to yourself, you want to list at least 2 or 3 achievements that you've had in each role. So they might be achievements where really you've added value in your position. So maybe you've contributed dramatically to a project and it's meant that you've been promoted in your role, so include those so it stands out well on the CV. Final 2 things, we're often asked if we should if you should include a gap on your CV or an explanation for a gap. So absolutely, I mean, people have gaps in their CVs for several reasons. They may have been taking time out to go travelling, they may have been made redundant, or they may be taking time out to care for an elderly relative. So just put a line in to say why you were doing that. And then finally, we're always asked if you should bother including hobbies and interests, but I'm a big fan of putting in hobbies and interests. So they're icebreakers. You might have something in common with the interviewer. And it shows that you've got a life outside of your job. So I hope that's been helpful. If you need any more advice or you'd like to see a sample CV, actually, you can send me a message on LinkedIn. I'm happy to send it on. So keep in touch and stay safe. Thank you.